Imagine a magical new tutor for every single student. It's infinitely patient, knows everything, and it's there for you 24/7. It's a multi-billion-dollar promise to make learning, well, effortless. But here's the thing. What if effortless learning isn't really learning at all? Okay, let's dive into this.
So, you've got these two sides of the coin. On one hand, you have the incredible promise of a perfect AI tutor, a tool that could unlock so much human potential. But on the other hand, you have this very real risk that we're just creating the ultimate intellectual shortcut. And that's the core tension we're going to unpack in this explainer. The vision being sold to us is, well, it's pretty utopian. It's this idea that AI tutors can finally democratize learning and help create a whole new generation of critical thinkers. And you gotta admit, it is an incredibly powerful sales pitch. I mean, look at these benefits they're selling us. Personalized instruction, infinite patience, closing achievement gaps, and the big one, freeing up our minds for higher-order thinking. Who wouldn't want that, right? But this very modern promise actually comes with a very old and very urgent warning.
That's right. To really get our heads around the potential risk of this brand new technology, we have to go back, way back, over 2,400 years in fact, and listen to a warning from Plato about the new, disruptive technology of his day.
So, Plato tells this story about his teacher, Socrates, who was deeply suspicious of writing. Yep, writing. Socrates was worried that writing would let people seem wise without them having to do the hard, internal work to actually become wise. It's a critique that feels, well, stunningly relevant today, doesn't it?
And to describe this new tech, Plato used a really specific Greek word, pharmakon. It means a substance that is, at the exact same time, both a remedy and a poison. And this one concept is the absolute key to understanding the trade-off he was seeing.
So the crucial point is this dual nature, right? The remedy of writing is that it's this amazing external aid. It helps you remember things you might otherwise forget. But the poison is that it becomes a crutch. It weakens the internal muscle of your own memory because, well, you don't really need to exercise it anymore.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but Socrates' biggest problem with writing was that it was a dead thing. You can't have a conversation with a book. And AI seems to solve that. It can hold a dialogue. But this is where the modern trap gets so much more deceptive. The AI isn't a living mind. It's just performing a script. And by giving us the perfect question and the perfect answer, it automates the very human struggle of forming our own ideas.
So what specific thinking skills are we actually putting at risk here? To understand this, we can pull out a kind of map of the mind, a framework developed by the educational psychologist Benjamin Bloom. Think of your cognitive skills like a ladder. The bottom rungs are the basics, like remembering and understanding facts. The top rungs, that's the harder stuff, analyzing, evaluating, and creating something totally new. Now, the research is overwhelmingly clear. AI tutors are fantastic at helping students with those bottom rungs. But as we start to climb higher, the story changes dramatically. And here's the problem the research keeps showing us. Meta-analysis consistently find positive measurable effects for AI on that lower-order thinking. But when it comes to the higher-order skills, like analysis and evaluation, the evidence is weak, it's contradictory, and in some cases it's even negative. It's like the AI helps you sprint up the bottom of the ladder, but it might be taking away your ability to climb to the very top.
Let's look at a concrete example. A big meta-analysis of computer programming courses found that students using AI tools finish their assignments way faster. Great, right? But here's the kicker. They showed no statistically significant advantage in their actual conceptual understanding. They were getting the work done, but they weren't gaining the deep knowledge.
And this gets to the absolute heart of what the great educational thinker John Dewey called productive struggle. You know, the frustration, the trial and error, that messy process is the learning. But AI tutors, they're designed with the exact opposite philosophy. They see that struggle as just an inefficiency to be eliminated, short-circuiting the very process that builds real intellectual muscle. And that brings us to the final, and maybe the most insidious part of this whole story. Because it turns out the biggest danger isn't what AI can't do for our thinking, it's what happens to us when it works a little too well.
You see, the real danger of this technology isn't that it's going to give our kids the wrong answers, or that it's going to fail them in some obvious way.
No, the danger is that it will succeed so perfectly that it teaches them to stop thinking for themselves.
There's a psychological mechanism at play here called cognitive offloading. And this isn't just looking up a fact on Google. With generative AI, we're outsourcing the entire thinking process, the analysis, the reasoning, the structuring of an argument. We are literally handing over the intellectual labor itself.
A pretty recent Microsoft research survey of 319 knowledge workers uncovered something truly stunning about this process. And it all comes down to one thing: confidence.
The study found this shocking inverse correlation. The higher a person's self-confidence was, the more critically they used AI. Okay, that makes sense. But the higher their confidence in the AI, the less they engaged in critical thinking.
And this reveals the seductive trap, doesn't it? As the technology gets better and more reliable, our trust in it naturally goes up. But that very trust seems to act like a switch in our brains, telling our own critical faculties, hey, you can stand down, the machine's got this. The technology's success creates the user's cognitive failure.
So that leaves us with a final and pretty crucial question. In our quest for efficiency, as we build these incredible tools designed to eliminate the productive struggle of learning, are we also, maybe inadvertently, outsourcing the very thing we hope to empower, our own ability to think?